We're going to get this thing started. We're going to get this meeting here. We got 5 o'clock, 5:30. My county meeting, our county meeting, has been posted for 5:30. So we got 30 minutes. We've already. This is the last of the 3 meetings that we're having. So we're going to proceed. I'm going to let one quick announcement. Becky is not here. She's with the family in Florida. But at 5:30, we want to call her. She's going on this speakerphone right here. She'll be able to hear and answer anything as we go through the next meeting. So by state law, it is legal. As long as we have a quorum here, she can be on the speakerphone. So that is the law. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can put me in jail. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Faye Harvey. Faye Harvey is the Chief Financial Officer of Pickens County. Jason Signer is the Assistant CFO of Pickens County. Ms. Faye, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I have to use a microphone. I can't talk that loud. Like the Chairman said, this is public hearing number 3 of on the 2014 millage rate increase. This first slide shows the current 2014 tax digest and the 5-year history of levy. So you have the 2014 amounts of the tax digest and then the previous 5 years. The tax digest decreased a little over $18 million, almost $18.3. The 4.7 million of that was in real and personal property, and 14.8 million, as you can see, was in motor vehicles. The motor vehicles the motor vehicle value that was on the digest in 2013 was a little over 90 million, and it decreased to just slightly over 75 million. The biggest reason for that, and the reason that number is going to continue to go down, is the new TAVT law that the Department of Revenue put into effect. It's called the title ad valorem tax. What that did is whenever anybody purchases a new vehicle, to get the title, you have to pay tax, or the ad valorem on the total purchase price of the vehicle, the value of the vehicle, and the value does not go on the tax digest. Whenever that went into effect, the Georgia Department of Revenue eliminated the sales tax on vehicles and replaced it with the TAVT. So this motor vehicles number in the digest will continue to decrease. The proposed millage rate that's been advertised is 7.22, and that is a ½ mil increase over the rollback rate. The increase to 7.22 will generate an overall increase in revenue of $684,750, and $641,933 of that is in real and property tax. Okay, here's just a comparison of the 2004 projected millage rates for Pickens County and the surrounding counties. The lowest millage rate is Fannin County. The second lowest is Pickens County, 7.22. And as you can see, the counties Forsyth, Walker, Dawson County, Gilmer, Gordon, Cherokee, Dade, and Lumpkin is highest. It's at 10.877. Okay, this shows a 2-year comparison with in the 2013 millage rates and either the projected or the millage rate for 2014 for the same counties. And Pickens, of course, is proposing a 0.5 increase. The other increase is Walker County. In 2013, their millage rate was 4.705. They are proposing to go up to 7.725, which is an increase of over 3 mils. Dade County is going up almost 2 mils, and Lumpkin County is going up a ½ mil. The effect of the ½ mil increase, this is on homestead property, and the average homestead value in Pickens County from this year's digest is $175,000. So you take the taxable value of that, which is 40% of the fair market value, and take your $5,000 homestead exemption amount off, so you pay on $65,000. At the proposed millage rate, that is $469.30. Now this is the county portion of the tax. at the rollback rate of 6.72, that same calculation comes up with a tax amount of $436.80. So it is a $32.50 increase each year or annually. Okay, the effect of a $500,000 increase on non-homestead property, and that average value in Pickens County is about $125,000. So your 40% taxable amount is $50,000. With the proposed millage rate at 7.22, that is $361. At the rollback rate of 6.72, that's $336. So the total increase on non-homestead property would be $25. Okay, this slide shows the our current 2014 budget and the way that is broken down. The salaries and benefits make up 63.6 of that budget, and the rest is operating costs, supplies, gasoline, that kind of thing. That makes up 36.4%. So when you take a budget like the size of Pickens County's $21 million, you need about $1.7 million every month to operate. And the majority of our revenue doesn't come in until the end of the year, or toward the end of the year after property taxes billed. So in at the beginning of this year, 2014, the county went into the year with about $350,000. That wasn't even enough to run the first month. So what we have to do is it's like a credit card. We get a TAN, which is a tax anticipation note. And that cash flows the county through until the end of the year when we collect the majority of our taxes. It's a short-term debt. It has to be paid back by the end of December. And since 2012, the county has had TANs in the amount of $6 million. That's what ours is this year. We get very good interest rates. Our interest rate this year is less than 1%. I think it's 0.96. But the cash flow problem comes at the end of the year. You've collected your property tax, but by the end of December, you have to pay back the TAN, the $6 million TAN. So then we start the year again with a shortage of funds. With the additional revenue from this millage rate, I think that we can reduce the TAN in 2015. I think we can reduce it by about $500,000, and I'm hoping that will be the beginning of eliminating them entirely. If we can reduce the TAN in 2015, then at the end of 2015, we'll have to pay back $5.5 million rather than $6 million. So that'll improve our cash flow in beginning 2016, and it's going to continue like that. Okay, this slide is just it's a look forward at the estimated budgets of 2015. It just shows some increases, and some of these have been updated since the previous slides because we have gotten updated amounts from the sheriff and from the Board of Elections. But this just shows increases that I was aware of, that I thought the commissioners needed to be aware of. I don't want to confuse the issue and make it seem like we're just estimating 2015 expenses to justify raising the TAN. That's not the case. The revenue from the 2014 millage rate pays for the 2014 budget expenses. We'll have to pay for it when we repay the TAN. And with the increase in the tax revenue, that should greatly improve our cash position as we go into the next year, into fiscal year 2015. That's all I have.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do at this time, we're going to open it up for questions or comments. Now, we don't have that much time, so what we're going to do is you'll have one bite at the apple. Anybody wants to make a comment, you'll have one bite of the apple, then we're going to go to the next person to ask the question. So, I'm going to start off. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Okay, why do I have...
Excuse me one second. If you would, please stand up, introduce yourself.
Dorothy Matthews, I'll be 72 years old 1 week from today, and I am paying school taxes. And I don't make no $25,000 a year because I don't own the dirt where I live. That is not fair. One bit is it not fair. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. What would our TAN be if we did?
I'm sorry, stand up.
My
Stand
name's
up.
Richard Marsh. Hi, everybody. If we didn't have that White Elephant Community Center, that very seldom gets used. That was a how many $1 million expenditure that was put up at this county, and it's very seldom used. Now, how much would that change our tax situation as a homeowner that has increased every time since I've moved here? That's it. One shot at the apple.
Dave, can you answer that? I don't think we can. She could probably, if before you leave, give her your email address. But on the other hand, may I comment to that, is the fact that we owe, how much do we owe on the community center at this time?
$1.3 million.
Yeah, we owe
Okay.
1.3.
1.3.
Actually,
That was rolled back into the general fund.
Because SPOS revenues
Not
did
paid
jump in.
for. $2 million out of it, 3 point whatever million.
And without getting into, I'm sorry, go ahead.
okay, yeah, I have the numbers here. Steve made me do these numbers. Okay, the total cost of the community center, the construction, equipment, and the furnishings was slightly over $3 million, $3,058,424. There's a capital lease from ACCG that was done December 30th, 2010 in the amount of $3 million. The total interest through the payoff of that loan, it is $3,421,000. The amount that SPLOST paid on that project, after, this was a Tier 2 SPLOST project. The Tier 1 projects, which the 2008 SPLOST fully funded and paid for, was the courthouse. The new courthouse is completely paid for. This building, the admin center, and also it repaid the debt on the detention center. So the balance of SPLOST, of that SPLOST 2008 that was left over to pay on the community center is $995,146. So the county is going to fund $2.4 million of that. Right now we owe $1,342,000, and that pays off in 2019. But we do get rental amounts. I think through August we had gotten almost $40,000 rent from the community center.
It's the community center is being used, contrary to proper belief. If you'd like to come, pardon?
It's busy.
If you would like to come to one of the community rec board meetings, they'd be glad to invite you in, let you see what's going on there, and let you know what's going on. Yes, ma'am.
This is, I don't want this to be part of my, Linda Marsh. Is it profitable? The community center, is it how much is coming in versus how much is going out? And I guess that's the whole issue even with this. How much I see nothing here saying, well, this is how we try to reduce anything to help this. When any household that can't make their payments gets stuck. They don't have any place to go. And here all you have to do is you're looking for us, because I think that you could try to cut something down, that there's ways, and that comes back into the community center. I mean, if it's bringing in $40,000 a year, but how much is it costing you a year? Yes? How much is it costing a year?
I mean, it's part of the Parks and Recreation budget.
Yes, it sits in the budget of the Parks and Recreation Department. We were one of the few counties in there that did not have a community center, and I'll just tell you up front, I'll tell everybody here, that was my decision, and I'm gonna take it on my shoulders. That was my decision at the time that was built. I made the decision to build it, and if I had to do it over again, I'm sorry, I would do it again. It's well used, and the kids had to have a place to go. Majority of the people here use it. I know some people were against it. A lot of people were for it. But I'll take the complete blame for that. You can fuss me out and go down the hallway if you like. But it was my call. And yes, I was hoping the SPLOST at the previous time would have come in and hopefully paid for that. But we had such a downturn in the economy back there in those times, we just come up short. and it was my fault. Next question.
I just want to state that today, I'm Kathleen Kelly, U.S. Census Bureau came out with median income dropped $5,000 since 2009. Since 2009, the median income has dropped $5,000. That's people who are under 65 years of age and younger than that. 65 and older, we have a decrease in 8.8% in income. Under 65 age, 11.2% decrease. I came simply just to make this comment and say that I thought it was most notable that in the paper today I read, Georgia is not Washington when it comes to politics, says Ralston. And he's quoted here as saying that at the low point of the economic recession in 2010, they cut the 20% out of the state budget. We cut everything, he said. Times were tough. The last thing we could do was ask for more taxes. And since elected, he says they've cut spending consistently, including slashing personnel numbers by 16%, eliminating 13,000 state jobs. If the state can do it, how come the local government can't do a little bit better at budgeting? I'm just hoping that we're going to hear a positive outcome.
I hope you're at our budget meetings that are posted on the website. We'd love to have you there. Next question.
Oh, I'll speak.
Yes.
Nobody else got anything to say. I'm Joey Rowland. Just to let everybody know, in 2006, we didn't have a TAN debt. We were debt-free, no short-term debt whatsoever, and we had money in the bank. And for the next 6 consecutive years, our sole governments overspent year after year, to be politically correct, I guess, since we needed to, whatever these people were complaining about, to be politically correct, but not physically responsible, we overspent 6 out of 6 years to the tune of about $8 million, which we had in the bank roughly. And now we got a $6 million TAN debt. We uncovered this, a few of us, about 2 years ago when we had the other tax increase. I met with Faye and said, is my numbers correct? Are we in this big of a pickle? And she looked at my numbers and she said they were right. We come to a meeting, a few of us, and the solution at that time, after everybody had met with the department heads, was to cut $1 million out of the spending. And that $1 million was supposed to go toward this TAN debt. And here we are 2 years later, we're having the same meeting, we hadn't cut, and now we're wanting to expand government again. I just want everybody to know what the history is. And I give you an F for what you have done.
The audit report and the numbers I put together on the website, everybody is welcome to look at them. They're on the web. Please do so. They have been investigated, and I'm just going to leave it at that. That has been asked and answered many times. As for the cutting, the department that me and the commissioners are responsible for, we've cut approximately $360,000.
Yeah, but this meeting was, all department heads was at this meeting. Because I come to the commissioners
department
meeting,
elected officials.
Right.
Understand?
And they all
I just
agree.
want to make that plain.
But y'all are the people that's supposed to be overseeing all these other departments, and you know, you're the ones that's here that we're having to talk to, and she looks after all the finances. And at that time, we all met and we decided that the solution was to cut $1 million out of the spending. Is that right?
We would try to cut $1 million. That's what we all tentatively agree on.
And nobody did. Y'all cut. The commissioners, you did cut. But you know, we just kind of let the cat out of the bag and we quit looking after it. Nobody's done any research. Have you done any meetings with these elected officials to say, hey, what do you need? Do you need more? Do you need less? And now here we are raising taxes again. Guys, it ain't right.
Thank you. Any other comment or questions?
Can I ask?
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, one bite of the apple. Go ahead, Steve.
First, I'd like to thank Ms. Faye, because I think her numbers.
Introduce yourself, sir.
Steve, Faye's trying to do the right thing with the pie she's been dealt. So I don't have a problem with that. We were talking about cutting, and we were talking about cutting 3% across the board. We understand that this is not all of the county problem of your control of it, but the other departments are not. If I'm not mistaken, we had between $70,000 and $80,000 last year, is that correct? Or at the first of the year, and now we have 600,000, I'm asking you, Ms. Beck, approximately, in savings?
The general fund cash balance is approximately 40, and we had about 30,000 in SPOS money, which is restricted.
So basically, we spent every dime that we had trying to overcome the over expenditures. So we ended up with about $70,000, $80,000 ballpark. So if that was the case, and we had an emergency, we were going to have to borrow money to get that money back. We didn't cut anything out of the budget. And I mean, this was your baby. And as much as I love you, that was your fault. You didn't, you didn't raise taxes, and I give you kudos for that, but at the same time, you didn't cut anything back. And we spent our surplus. Now, we've hashed that out, and you say it's on the website, it's been, nobody said anything about it being illegal. We said, why didn't you cut? And now you're coming back to us with another tax increase. We got involved in this in 2012 when we lost the Young Life settlement, and we had to come up with $400,000. We ended up getting $306,000 out of that tax increase. That's when we started seeing all of the departments, how much they were over budget, including the county. You guys came and said, okay, we're going to cut. So we got that back down, and we're on budget now. Sheriff's Department's, what, 4% under? We're falling in line. But that wouldn't have happened if the citizens hadn't gotten involved. We would still be dealing with what we were dealing with in 2008, 2009. 2009, the big crash, as everybody says, we had to cut back, but the county government didn't, and you guys just kept spending. It's evident in the figures.
Well, wait a minute on you guys.
Well, I apologize. You weren't here.
I was accused of raising the taxes twice, and I wasn't even in office in 2012.
That being granted, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the county government. When I say you guys, that's what I'm referring to. So at this point right now, what we're talking about doing is raising taxes again to pay for money on a $6 million TAM. You correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Fay, that we've already borrowed and we've already spent for 2014. And these are upcoming expenditures, grant, that we're going to have to come up with that money. Correct?
That's been asked and answered in the other two meetings. Yeah.
I understand that a lot of these folks weren't in there.
Those meetings are posted.
But the bottom line is if we take another tax increase to pay for this $6 million, where's it going to stop, I guess is my question. It just keeps going on and on. Now, you told me the other day when we were talking about 3% cuts, I think Gary mentioned it in the meeting, 3% cut across the board in all departments. Ms. Becky was sitting there and she says, I think we're a little top heavy on some part of it, and on the low end of it, we're not. So basically the way I take that answer is that we're talking about cutting out some of the over expenditures at the top where we're spending too much money and maybe keeping some of the lower the same. Is that correct? But you said that you then never asked for a 3% cut. Then you turn around and you said that was our number, but in August you said that you would ask every department.
Last year, if I believe my memory serves me correctly, we did ask all departments in the last 2 years to see if we can manage a 3% cut. That is correct.
Okay, so if we had made that 3% cut, would we be asking for a tax increase right now?
I can't answer that question.
I understand it's a vague question. But the bottom line is that if we don't cut, everybody in this room is taxpayers. Everybody in this room has to pay for groceries. Everybody in this room has expenses. You, your family, everybody's family. We keep going on, and it's not accomplishing anything. We can't keep spending and not cutting. Go ahead.
Again, thank you, Steve. Again, I will mention to you that we've got these budget hearings coming up, and y'all need to get involved in these, but you're more than welcome to come.
But you can't talk.
Well, I think we're going to change that, are we not?
We're looking to see what we could do. But
No wonder.
So we just get one, if a question pops up,
I'm waiting for anybody else to have a question.
I want to say one thing. We talking about how much we're paying in taxes, and I just, we showed here a $35 increase on the average house, $175,000. This county just went through a protection flash change. It changed different amounts in different areas. In the Hinton area, which that's the biggest part of the West End there, the homeowner rate effective September the 1st on a $175,000 house dropped $97 a year.
As far as insurance,
Yes. Effective, anything effective after that day. So that's where part of it, your money went, helping you out that much there.
All right, any other comments?
Why are we here? You're gonna pass it anyway. Why are we all sitting here? Because you're gonna pass the thing anyway. So we're all just basically wasting our time.
If that's how you feel about that, sir, why not?
I understand. I wanted to see first time how things were gonna go. And it said right in the paper that 5 o'clock there will be a meeting. And it's 5:30, you're gonna pass it anyway.
We've had two other meetings previous to this.
I was out of town.
The first one lasted 2 hours. The second one lasted over an hour.
I was out of town.
I'm sorry. We had these meetings posted.
But, you know, it doesn't matter if you come or not. You're gonna do what you want.
Rob, if I may,
We've already had one cup, yeah.
I know they may pass it, but if we hadn't have gotten involved, you'd be paying double of that, bottom line. And that's what's happened since 2012. So you gotta stay involved.
Gary Copeland, the 3% that we asked for, you know, we said across the board, we didn't mean to go out and cut any of these workers' salaries or whatever. And I think what Becky meant by heavy on the top and light on the bottom is, yeah, there's a lot of people here that don't make but $20,000 or $30,000 a year, and it is light on the bottom. And we have people that are way overpaid here. So, you know, if we could start some of those cuts at the top and cut out some of those unnecessary people that we have, or maybe even an unnecessary department, and all these other people that showed up here that I'm talking about, whether it's the police or what. You know, if we could work on giving them more, if we could shave it off at the top and continue these cuts. But then when I look at the analysis that you put up on the screen, Faye, that's true. Pickens County is second for the lowest in millage rates. But when you take the population and then the tax levy, when you do the math on it, how much is each person in that county taxed? We're right there at the top. And they did Murray County, and it was $397 a head, and Pickens was $700. So, you know, that's a little bit deceiving.
Is that school and county combined on that number?
That's exactly right.
So that's school and county combined on that
That's
number,
exactly.
not just not county tax.
So when you do the population and the tax levy, you know, I think we should look at it both ways. Now, whether we are fair or not, or we are next to the bottom, there's always room for cuts. And like I said, I hate to see all these county workers show up and think that we're asking for them, you know, to lose their job or take a pay cut. No, I'm all for them getting more, as much as they can, because I know it's tough to make a living on $20,000 or $30,000 a year or whatever they get paid. So why don't we take a second look at that too and see what we can trim off the top.
As I've mentioned twice, Gary, we're going to have these budget meetings coming up, and you're very welcome to be there. Thank you.
Well, I showed up at that last year, and we had one more, so I'll be there again this year.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's 5:30.
That number didn't include school system. The number about the counties on how much that's county dollars.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're fixing to go into to the regular meeting, and we are going to give Miss Becky a call. Let me see if I can get her. Anybody want to leave her a message?
available. At the tone, please record your message. Can you repeat?
Oh, blame her, I wouldn't answer it.
Can I ask you something else? Why is Pickens County making us pay school taxes when the other counties don't when you get a certain age?
I'll give you that.
Huh?
I'll give you this question. We have a senior tax exemption. Granted, it's $25,000 or less. If the joint family income is $25,000 or less, we have a senior tax exemption that was put in place quite a few years ago. Now, there's been some talk of raising that number to 30 or 35,000, but that.
Rob, it would be a good
That's
idea to
not my
talk to the
question.
school board about
That-
that, because everybody's talking about that, but they're not talking to the Board of Education.
Okay.
I have a real problem
All
with
right.
that.
Well, this going to be discussed. I just bring this young lady here. We're just telling her that it has been talked about.
I understand that.
So
I think
that's
people
where
are
it's at.
asking the wrong questions of the wrong people.
So you're saying that she needs to come to the school board and ask that question?
Absolutely.
Who makes the decision? Who makes the decision?
The Board of Education would make that decision.
Because who pays the school taxes?
Absolutely.
They make the decision who makes it. And I don't make nowhere like $25,000.
All right.
Well, you're already.
Ladies, please. Hey,
School tax.
ladies, you'll be good. Oops. We'll be glad for you to talk. Becky, is that you?
It is.
Oh, well, thank you. Hold on one second. Just going to clear up something.
Sure.
Miss Wendy, you and this young lady, when the meeting is over, y'all be glad to talk about it and get after the
If
meeting
she
as
makes
well.
less than $25,000, she needs to go ask for the exemption.
I don't
All right,
own the
ladies and
dirt where I
gentlemen,
live.
hold it.